Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and all suited up today for my Oscar party, but here to do a couple of reviews. I only got to see two movies this past week, and these are going to probably be pretty quick, so I got to check out Every Day that came out last week. This is a film about a young woman who starts falling in love with a person who wakes up in a different body every day and lives that person's life for one day. And when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this has a pretty cool concept, but it could either be something really obnoxiously melodramatic, knowing that it's based off of a young adult's novel, or it could have been something pretty special, and it kind of falls somewhere in between. It definitely gets above and beyond just like blood, just trash of just this is made for just a bunch of teenage girls probably, but it's something that really sticks out as okay, this could have been a really cool thing. They do some things well, they don't do some things well. This was directed by Michael Suxi, and it was shot by Roger Stoffers. It was written by Jesse Andrews, and the film was composed by Elliot Wheeler. Now, this film, it has a decently good pace, and it never feels like it's completely dragging or anything like that. So it keeps you engaged and keeps things going, because it keeps bouncing around with all these different people and keeping things fresh, giving different kinds of situations, and a lot of them pay off in interesting ways. Some of them feel a little wasted, like Jacob Batalon from Spider-Man Homecoming, who's in the trailer, pops up for like 2 minutes and that's it. And some of the things are very short, and that's one of my criticisms of this film, is that this film goes through very quickly and skates through a lot of things, and it's just like it probably would have benefited from sticking here for a little bit, giving us more of a sense of what's going on. And it goes by so choppily sometimes that it's just like, this has only been a couple of days, or how long is this supposed to be going on? And it gets a little hard to keep track of, and it kind of, especially with how her relationships with people keep changing and stuff, it gets a little hard to follow. It's like, does this make sense that things would go this bad this quickly, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. But overall, this is shot, it's shot decently well. It's nothing special. There isn't like great works of cinematography in this film, but it also doesn't just feel like glossy or boring mess of just, it's point and shoot. It does some interesting things at certain points. There is one point where they're doing some kind of like flashback for backstory of this character A, who keeps waking up in different bodies. I'm like, oh, that's something interesting that they did. So there were some points where it actually showed a little ambition and a little bit of different kinds of ways of looking at things. The writing of this film, there's not a whole lot of deep characters throughout. Like, we have our main character played by Andrews Rice. I hope I said that right. I really enjoyed her a lot in The Nice Guys, and she pops up in this film as our main character. She gets some fleshing out, but mostly everyone else doesn't get a whole lot. And then we do get a sense of who A is and developing there, but the nature of A jumping back and forth between people, a lot of how we figure out about these people's personalities is through A telling us. And I feel like that was an interesting way of doing it, so the exposition didn't feel so heavy-handed at times about telling us about these characters, because it was honestly another character trying to figure out this person from being inside them and being inside their head, which was an interesting thing. But this, like, the story doesn't go in any kind of super significant ways. It's pretty straightforward, and it's not the most interesting story, but it does actually hit on some emotional points, and there are places in this film that does really hit home, and it's something to be appreciated, because I didn't really expect that for this film. And the music, it's music, there's pop choices, and the score really isn't super memorable. It does its job, and overall this film kind of falls in doing where it's kind of straight down the middle. There's ads, there's subtractions, and kind of keeps it towards the middle. In terms of the acting, Like I mentioned, Angries Rice does a fantastic job. She's really charming in this film, and there's one particular sequence that I really enjoyed her. She was really showing a lot of energy, and I really appreciate what she was doing. Owen Teague and Michael Cram play two of the young men that are inhabited by and she kind of develops these feelings for, and I think they both did a nice job. And then Justice Smith, who plays her boyfriend, was awful. He was really distracting, but overall, a lot of the young cast in this film do a really good job. And Michael Cram actually plays her father in this film, and he has a few scenes that I really appreciate. Melissa Leo's in this, but she really, honestly, she doesn't get a whole lot to do in this film, and she's kind of wasted. Maria Bello, sorry, that was wrong. Very different actresses. But overall, it's not a perfect film, and it's not perfectly put together either. But it does hit some emotional places. It is well acted overall, and I'm going to give Every Day a C.